I'm Mr. Sharkey. This is
I'm
Mr. Miller. And we're going to get us going here. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we thank you for this time together. I ask that you bless our efforts in kicking off a new school year, even though this one's not even finished. Just kind of getting us heading in the right direction and help keep everybody safe over these last couple of weeks of school and throughout the summer until we get back together and get going full speed ahead. St. John Baptist de La Salle,
Pray for us.
live Jesus in our hearts.
Forever.
Amen. Alrighty, well, let's start off with the first thing on here. Probably the calendar is what's going to come up. Yeah, so this calendar that you picked up, this is actually the band calendar, but almost everything on there that the choir does is also included. If you kind of look at where it says who, if it says all, that's something that will involve the choir. The only thing that's missing on here for the choir would be the all-district choir auditions.
Which is TBA.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we don't know when it is anyways. In fact, even the district band auditions, let me see.
Yeah, that's TBA.
It says TBA as well, so just because we don't have an exact firm date yet, but we'll get that information out to you before the school year starts or shortly afterwards. So basically, if it's pretty easy. Just run through the calendar, see when the commitments are. On some of the things where it says, so for example, varsity football versus DeSmet, jazz, drumline, cadet. That's kind of we're planning for that game, but as we get closer at the beginning of the school year, we may decide, okay, cadet band's not going to be playing at that first game. Football versus Vianney says drumline and modern band. So there could be kind of a little bit of a modification to this. This is just to kind of get you started and get things going on your calendar to start with for the school year. Even into second semester, Club CBC. Trying to remember if I put a...
Can you talk about the Cardinals game at all?
Yeah, I can back up. There we go. Okay, Cardinals game. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Cardinals game, Sunday, September the 12th. We have been penciled into that date, pending that the Cardinals will have attendance and have groups performing. I know that they've already had some groups performing this year, so I think it's pretty close to 100% that that's going to be open for us. We'll sell tickets. It's kind of a mini fundraiser for us for that and a great opportunity to perform. We'll perform in the Ford Plaza, kind of behind the center field area there for about 20 minutes prior to the game. I don't know what kind of additional things I'll have attached to it because, you know, we're still probably going to have some COVID restrictions and that going on, but in the past they've even had a couple students that we kind of draw a name from the kids that sold tickets that can actually end up getting to go down onto the field before first pitch kind of thing. So hopefully we'll still have that kind of incentive involved as well. Anything I'm missing on that?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
It is not against the Brewers this year.
Which is the first time in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, we've always seemed to be at a Brewers game, and I think it's the Reds this year, so
Yes.
It's still in the Central. Christmas concert, it says Wednesday the 8th or Thursday the 9th of December. We have both of those dates. Last year we did a combined Christmas concert on one day. The previous 5 years that Mr. Miller and I were here, we had separate dates, so it'll be one or the other or both. And again, we'll let you know as we get closer to that. Second semester, Club CBC, that's our big fundraiser for the trip. That's a full band, full choir fundraiser where all the proceeds go into the pot to reduce the overall cost of the trip. We're adding a concert for the modern band students. Modern band has like 16 students in it next year, so we're going to split it into 2 or 3 different bands that'll be able to sustain their own entire concert at least once through the year. Graduation, we haven't performed a graduation for 2 years, but
We'll see.
we should be able to do that next year, we're hoping. All right, and then the big thing is the trip to Orlando. So we'll kind of go over the particulars of the trip, which are all contained in this, but I'm not really going to go through this verbatim. This is more just for your information to keep for afterwards. But we often get asked the question, why would we take a bunch of high school kids on a trip. Are we crazy? And whether or not we're crazy doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. Some of the gray hairs I have probably have come from taking students on trips, but I will say that it's just a great opportunity for the kids to learn stuff about themselves, not just musically, but socially. For many of the students, it's the first time they're away from home. We had a student a few years ago, he'd never crossed the Mississippi River. He'd never gone outside the state of Missouri. In fact, I don't know that he'd gone outside St. Louis in his life. And like every bridge we went over was like a new adventure for him. It was actually kind of cool to see. It's like, Mr. Sharkey, I'm in Illinois. And then, Mr. Sharkey, I'm in Kentucky. And by the time he got to Tennessee, I was like, okay, I get it. He'd never been on a roller coaster, that kind of thing. So anyways, but the big thing we do is we expose ourselves and the students to a different level of music. Disney, as we all know, is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. They do things first class all the way 100% all the time. And the programs that they offer for both performances and workshops are just like, I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. And basically how it works is you go into this workshop that they give, and it's like a professional recording session. You might record some soundtrack music to something from a Disney movie. You might record just a song from a Disney movie or TV show. And they kind of take you through the process of doing that and highlight things that we talk about every day in our classes and ensembles. And it's a great reinforcement and kind of an eye-opening experience to the broader world of music outside of what we do here in our own classrooms. So the itinerary, I guess it's tentative in terms of what we're doing while we're there, but we're pretty much set in stone that we will be leaving on Thursday, March the 10th. We don't know what time during the day. I think the last time we went to Disney was sometime during the afternoon, and we basically drive straight through. They have
right before school let out.
Yeah, we definitely get out before school lets out, because otherwise we get stuck in traffic. They do a driver switch somewhere around Atlanta, and then that'll be in the middle of the night. We just stay asleep. We get there, and we start doing stuff. Lunch or dinner en route, depending on what time we leave, will not be included in the cost of the trip, so the guys will need to bring some spending money or whatever to get their dinner on the way down. Once we arrive, we would have breakfast right before we get there, and then we get there and we go right into Disney World. We may have a workshop that day. I've tentatively put it on the itinerary, but that's kind of depending on when they slot us in. It could be Saturday, it could be Sunday, it just depends on their availability. The rest of the time, we have free time in whatever park we're in that day. For our purposes right now, we're saying it's the Magic Kingdom, and then when we're finished at night, we go back to the hotel and check in for the first time. The boys will stay in rooms of 4. They'll sign up for rooms so they can choose their own roommates. Adults that go on the trip as chaperones, you'll go in rooms of 2, so double occupancy. Then Saturday, breakfast at the hotel every morning is included. Let's say we go to Hollywood Studios and Galaxy's Edge, you'll get a Disney meal ticket for 2, that should be good for 2 meals that day. Although what some of the guys have done in the past is they save it up and they'll like spend their own money for lunch, and then for dinner they'll go to like one of the really nice sit-down restaurants and get like a little more expensive meal. Some of them did that last time we went, and they saved it up for 2 days and got like the $75 pasta at Italy at Epcot.
I'd say everybody went to Epcot and got the biggest meal they could find.
We could tentatively have a performance that day as well. Sunday, breakfast at the hotel, kind of a similar thing, lunch and dinner provided through a meal ticket. Monday, we would check out of the hotel and then go to Universal Islands of Adventure. Again, they would get a Universal meal card for both days, or for the day as well. And then we depart for home, drive through the night again, and get here sometime Tuesday afternoon. All right. The cost for the trip looks like about $1,429 per student based on the quad occupancy. For adult, $1,535. That is based on having 65 to 69 travelers. If we have less than that, the price will go up a little bit. If we have more, it can go down. The other kind of caveat on that is it depends on the busing situation. So if it went down to the point where we only had 55 people going on the trip, so the price would go up as we drop down towards 55, and then once we hit like 55, because that's a full capacity bus, then the trip cost would go down from that point. So at this point, that's what we're looking at with that. We already talked about the lodging situation, quad occupancy for students, double for adults. And as part of the cost, there's actually a paid kind of security chaperone person that the travel company contracts with to be there all night long so that one of the adults on the trip doesn't have to stay up all night long and monitor the boys' rooms. I will say in the past, we've had very little trouble with guys doing stuff late at night because they're usually exhausted.
Yeah, that's very true.
About the worst is they stay up and play video games in a hotel room the entire first night.
And then they're exhausted.
And then they're exhausted the rest of the trip. The Disney dining card, so it's actually a $30 Disney dining card, so you can use it how you want. So it's not, like we said, you can save it up and use it all at once or spread it out.
And that's per day.
Yeah. And then the one at Universal is actually a meal card, so it's not a dollar amount, it's a set meal, and there's certain, when you go to certain concessions or restaurants, there's certain things that you can get off the menu for that card. All of the theme park tickets, the workshop and performance fees, and then we have an on-site tour director from Bob Rogers Travel that will be with us the entire time. And they kind of coordinate all the tickets and when we have to be where and all that kind of stuff. They keep us on track. We had someone a couple years ago when we went to Branson, and the boys called her Grandma T.
Yes.
All right, payments for the trip. So if you were slated to go on the trip this year or last year and you still have money held with us, you don't need to do anything right now for payments. For everybody else, we will need a deposit by June the 15th of $150. That's to secure your place on the trip. And then we set up a payment schedule for the rest of it. One thing that we really always hope to have happen is that this one down here at the bottom, that's close to zero because of the money, the fundraising that we do with Club CBC and other things throughout the year. So that's what our goal is that when we get to February 8th, you might owe $7 or something like that. Additional costs, t-shirts, we'll get t-shirts for the entire group, kind of like from when we performed at the Cardinals game. Could be up to $25 just depending on the shirt or shirts. Did we get 2 the last time we went to Disney or just 1?
Yeah, we got 2 because one was a specific Disney Performing Arts shirt.
And then one was a CBC.
One was a CBC shirt, yeah.
And then what we do is we coordinate and we say on Saturday we're all going to wear this shirt, Sunday we're all going to wear this shirt, and that kind of helps us identify the guys when they're, because when we're in the parks, they don't have to stay with chaperones or adults. They're free to go where they want to.
You sort of see them roam around by their shirt.
Yeah, and also, not necessarily because we want to spy on them, but more that when we have a check-in time or something like that, if we can see one of our shirts way over there, we know, okay, well, they're at least walking this direction kind of thing. Not included would be the Thursday dinner, the Friday breakfast, and then Tuesday breakfast, Tuesday lunch, so basically as we're traveling, and then any kind of souvenirs that the boys want to get on their own. Adults that go on the trip will function as chaperones, kind of helping supervise the students during activities. The real biggest thing is anytime we have to leave somewhere, we really rely on the chaperones. So we assign chaperones to groups of guys, usually 2 or 3 of the rooms at a time. And anytime we're getting ready to leave somewhere, those 2 or 3 rooms, of students will check in with their chaperones so that we know that we're all there. That's a lot easier than Mr. Miller and I running around with a clipboard saying, okay, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so. It's just a lot easier if we do it that way.
And that's sort of the easiest way for us to also give information out to the whole group without having to gather all 70 people. We'll have a little chaperone director meeting, and then when the chaperones go to check on their rooms for lights out, they can then relay that information to their rooms. So it's all being distributed that way,
Yeah.
which makes it a little easier.
Because when they're all 60 together, they tend to not pay attention. All right. Fundraising. So, how are we going to pay for this? Well, there's a couple things. We talked about the large group fundraiser that we do called Club CBC, Saturday, February the 5th. If you've been here before and you've seen it, it's our musical extravaganza. Student groups perform, including all of the ensembles. The other thing that students are able to do is do their own thing. They can get their own band together and audition to perform at Club CBC. They can do a vocal solo. They can do a trombone solo with an accompaniment or something like that. And it's kind of like a trivia night, but instead of trivia, we have the musical things going on. It's kind of the entertainment and the interest for the evening. We'll also do silent auction and raffles and that kind of thing as well. Parents, we need you to help with that, running Club CBC. We need a chairperson, we need a secretary, and then people on kind of all the committees to do with food and drink, tickets, decorations, raffles, and silent auctions. If you would like to or are interested in helping out with that, you can talk to Mr. Miller and I at the end of the presentation. You can shoot us an email saying, hey, I'd love to help out with this. And if you helped out with something in past years and you just want to keep doing the same thing, just shoot us an email and say, yes, I'm in to keep helping with the decorations or keep helping with the tickets or whatever.
And I just want to say, we would really love volunteers from every group being represented. So there's parents of every group sort of in that group. So every kid is sort of represented in the planning of every event.
Right. So that's not just junior and senior parents, you know, that's all grade levels, band, choir, modern band, drumline, etc. And then we do need somebody this year, big time, to help with the financial. We've had Mrs. Pauline Murphy has done it for the last 4 years, but Joe graduated 2 days ago. 2 days ago. So, or that was just yesterday.
It feels like 2 days ago.
Feels like 2 days ago. It was just yesterday. So we do need someone that's good with finances to kind of take over the spreadsheet and keeping track of how much money people have paid and how much we've raised and how that all shakes out in the end. So if you're good with that, if you're good with Excel, we need you.
And you'll work directly with the business office at the school. So you're not doing everything yourself. It's a sort of assistant to what they're doing in the business office.
All right, we have a couple other things that we do, the script program and the benefit mobile program. I have a second PowerPoint that I'm going to pull up in just a minute here. I have like 2 more slides here, and I'll pull those up and kind of explain what they are. Those are individual fundraisers. So if you do the script gift cards, if you do the benefit mobile, that money will go directly that you raise towards your own son's trip, and that won't be split up among everybody else. So before I get back to that, what to do from here, if you want to pay the deposit tonight and you have a checkbook with you, you can make a check out to CBC High School and give it to one of us before you leave. Or if you can just send it up with your kid if they're still in school here, or you can even put it in the mail and make sure you put it to my attention, Mr. Sharpie, or to Mr. Miller's attention, and we'll make sure we get it. I noticed on here that I made a typo. I put it's due June the 1st. There should have been a 5 after that, so it should be the 15th. All right, so it says questions. Are there questions about anything except for the script and benefit mobile at this point? Had such a great presentation that it's like 100% information. Everybody got it. Cool. Never happened before. All right. All right, so what is the script program? Individual fundraising opportunity, meaning the money that you save is applied only to your son's trip cost. We'd like to do this once a month, if possible. In the last couple of years, we haven't really had it work like that. We've done it once or twice during the school year, so we'll just kind of see how that works and how that goes to make it happen. We'll turn in the order with payment, and then the gift cards that you order will be shipped within 1 to 2 weeks. So If you plan to do this, it'll be something where you kind of have to plan ahead. So if you want to use it for grocery shopping, and that's all you got for groceries for this week, you might want to rethink it, kind of thing. It's kind of better if kind of you look at it from a long-term standpoint instead. Basically, it works like this. So if you order gift cards, you know how when you order them, you can just walk into Target and get them? Well, Target's selling them because they get a little bit of money when they sell those gift cards. So that's essentially what we are doing. We'll become a gift card reseller, and you'll get a little bit of money that stays with us. So if you order $200 in gas script, for example, it's 1.5% saving, $3 of that stays with CBC. Your $200 in gas cards is worth $200. Movies, if you want to go to a movie, let's say AMC, $50 gift card, 7% return, you get $350. And you can kind of read through this and kind of see how that all shakes down. Well, it's not a whole lot of money at one time, but if you do it for a lot of different things, and let's say after 1 month you did it on all those things, you might get $34. Times 7 months between the beginning of the school year and when the trip happens, you've cut $238 off the cost of your son's trip. A lot of things that people will do is when they do home improvement projects, because Home Depot and Lowe's and Ace have them, they'll get the gift cards, pay for like all the lumber for their, I know $1,000 in lumber is going to get you, what, 3 sheets of plywood right now? But all that, you'll sit, you know, that's a huge one that people have done in the past. I think someone a couple years ago did like a $10,000 deck.
Yeah.
And so they got like $400
Off their
towards the
trip.
trip cost, and it was basically free money. So why do we say it's free money? Because it's money you're already spending, you're going to spend anyways, you're just getting a little bit of a kickback by ordering those gift cards through us. Tons of food options. If you haven't had dinner, we probably just made you hungry. Retail. Okay? Benefit Mobile is basically the same kind of thing, but instead of ordering gift cards, it's actually an app on your phone. This one is something that you can use and it can be ongoing. You don't have to depend on ordering them through the band and choir. You can just sign up for this app and use this all the time. Same kind of thing, Benefit Mobile, you know, same kind of returns as the script program. You can see that there. Again, it might not be a whole lot at one time, but over the course of the year, it can really add up. I know lots of numbers.
Talk about the best part.
The what?
I always say the best part about Benefit Mobile. So with Benefit Mobile, you don't have to do it in advance.
Oh, yes.
That's the benefit, I would say, of Benefit Mobile a little over Script. Because Script, you have to order the gift cards in advance. You have to be thinking ahead. But with Benefit Mobile, if you're standing in line at Target and they tell you what your total is, you can open the app, type in your exact total, press OK, scan it, and then you get the automatic kickback from whatever your total was already going to be. So you can do it in the moment.
Yeah. Yep.
All with the app. So it's actually more instantaneous and more definite money you're going to spend anyway.
So this is what the app, I don't know if the app still looks like this. I haven't used it in a little while, but this is what it looked like as of last year.
And it's very user-friendly.
Yeah. So you open the app up, you click on beneficiaries, and you would,
And football's still on there, so.
yeah, and you look up CBC High School music. I think music and football are the two options that would come up when you search for music. Search for CBC High School, St. Louis. Click on music. So football, music, and operations. The thing that is important is when you have supporting, it says other, you'll need to click on change and type your son's name in there. The other nice thing with this is you can use it, grandparents, aunts and uncles, you can have multiple people doing this. So here's an example that I did. I went to Panda Express. It had a 6% rebate. I clicked on buy a new card. And my total was $11.93. That's how much I spent. It gives you a little barcode, and the cashier scans the barcode, or they type in the numbers, and it's instantaneous, like Mr. Miller said. And I redeemed 72 cents to the Christian Brothers College High School band program and music program. And again, I think I did this for a month, and I think I raised like $17. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but all I was doing was eating at Panda Express or Burger King or something like that. So with that said, the parents that are kind of coordinating this for us, we have Miss Becky David, who's sitting in the center here. She's going to do the script program. Do you have anything to say about script?
I think you said it perfectly. It's thinking ahead. It's more if you want a physical gift card to give to somebody,
Yeah.
that's a great use for the program. It is probably not, like you were saying, instantaneous.
Yeah. I think the way that we've used it the last couple of years was we did it as gift cards for like Christmas and stuff like that. So we do it maybe sometime in October, so we'd have plenty of lead time and stuff to get them back in time to get them out for Christmas gifts and that kind of thing. And then we have Miss Julie Johnson, who's over here. She's going to be kind of running the benefit mobile program. Anything I missed?
No, I mean, I think you hit it all really well. I can't stress enough how easy it is if you haven't used it before. Once you have it set up, and setting it up's not hard either, literally every time I go to Target, I only use Benefit Mobile. Every time I need to refresh my Starbucks app, which is more often than I care to admit.
I never thought of that. I need to do that.
Instant. Like, I buy the gift card, I copy it from Benefit Mobile, I hit paste in my Starbucks app, and I've got it loaded with however much I just bought. Same thing on Amazon. Same thing on Apple Music and iTunes. All of our streaming services that we pay for in iTunes, we use Benefit Mobile for. And I think you mentioned too, like home improvement stuff. We put in our fence last year with Lowe's, and I sat there. Unfortunately, it's a $500 limit gift card at a time, but I sat there, and they were happy to do it too. Like, I just sat there and I bought however many gift cards I needed to buy while I sat there.
Can I ask if you have any idea how much you earned? If you're
I think we earned like $100.
yeah.
It was, like I said, it was last year, so it's hard to,
Yeah.
I can't quite remember, but it was a lot.
If you walk down the street and saw $100 laying there, would you bend over and pick it up?
Yeah.
The
Who
only,
wouldn't? Yeah.
the only other thing is that they do give you the option of linking a credit card or a bank account. You will get a higher percentage of return if you link your bank account instead of your credit card. It will still work with your credit card, but like with Amazon, instead of getting 2%, you only get 1%. So it's totally worth it, for the extra, few moments that it takes to set up your bank account with it.
And I think some people have expressed kind of concern about linking it to your bank account, but it's like really no different than like PayPal. It's probably even more secure than PayPal is because it's going to be less targeted by hackers and stuff like that. So I've had it linked for a couple of years and I haven't had any problems. So. All right, so last but not least, I can kind of take you through this tour proposal. Kind of talks a lot about, this kind of tells you who Bob Rogers Travel is, the company that we're going with. Kind of shows you the inclusions that we already talked about. We will have, the boys will get a souvenir DVD at the end of the trip that's kind of a pictures that we all take and submit to them, and they compile it together and put it to music for us. It's kind of fun. Talks about the pricing. The other thing that you'll probably be interested in is the travel insurance, okay? So if you're interested in travel insurance in case of cancellation, and that's at the end, this travel protection plan, that's something that is not included in the cost of the trip. It's something that you have to do on your own, and you have to do it, I think, within a certain number of days, 14 days. So after you've already paid your initial deposit to us, you have 14 days to do that. It's actually going to be when we have our official deposit date with Bob Rogers Travel, which has not happened yet. So if you've left your money with us from this previous year's trip that got canceled, that date hasn't passed. I will let you know when that happens. And what you'll do is you'll kind of look on this chart, and we're in the $1,000 to $1,500 range. So $6,150, it's a one-time payment, and you can kind of read what the particulars are in terms of the cancellation. So 2 years ago, we got, I think, 75% refund, and that was for everybody on the trip because of the extreme circumstance with COVID. It just did take us a few months to get that refund back. This year, when we canceled, we did get, I believe it was 100% of our refund back this year because we canceled within a window from the company. It'll be similar going forward. If the trip ends up getting canceled on the whole, it would happen within the window that we would get all of our money back. But if for any other reason, like you would have to cancel or something, this isn't a bad idea to have. So that information is on there. Again, that's not going to be part of your trip cost. You will not write that check to us. You'll actually go straight through the travel insurance company, through this link that's on there, to get that set up. All right. Now I don't know what happened behind me. There we go. All right, any questions? No? Okay, excellent. I don't have anything else. Mr. Miller, do you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
Great. If you think of a question later and you want to send us an email, feel free to do that. If you want to talk to us about anything or ask a question individually, we'll both be up here on the stage for a little while. Again, we really do need people to kind of step up and help us with Club CBC. We need to get that kind of going right away. We will have a meeting probably right at the very beginning of the school year, if not beforehand, to kind of kick things off. So we do need a chairperson because Don Galloway was our chairperson last year, and Eric also graduated yesterday. So we definitely need someone that's good at kind of spearheading everything and kind of checking with multiple people and keeping things on task, and then a financial person as well. So if you can help us out with those areas, that would be great. Otherwise, that's all we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.